Hey folks, what's up? It's Adam here, aka Cena Guy. Time for another movie review on a film which uh, some horror fans do talk about this movie for a fair bit, and I don't think every time I mention this movie to different horror fans, some have seen it, but some of them haven't got really much to say about it, and it's a shame because this movie, I admit, has got a lot of problems. I had a lot of problems with this movie. However, I didn't hate the movie because there were some things in this movie that were good, but this could have been a much better film if they would have put their mind to it. I'm talking about this movie right here, Dead Silence. As you can see, I own it on Blu-ray. So, as you can see by the title, this is like a movie review slash run because there's so many problems with this movie, and it's a damn shame because this movie could have been the making of something special, in my opinion. They got some things right, but they got a lot of things wrong with this movie. I'm going to explain in full detail, like the problems I had with it and the things I did like about it. Like I say, I think it's a damn shame because with what they did with this movie, I mean, it involves a lot of ventriloquist dummies in this movie. Again, that's a good factor because them sort of dolls do look scary. I own a ventriloquist dummy, and just the way they look, with the eyes and the mouth and the way they move, sound, when the ventriloquist does the voice for them, they can easily look scary, creepy. Um, I thought the atmosphere towards the end of this movie, like in the theatre, was a good little touch. It looked gothic, spooky little atmosphere, so they got that right. Again, ventriloquist dummies, a good thing to involve. You can easily make a good scary film with ventriloquist dummy. Kind of reminded me a lot of like Goosebumps. Slappy the Dummy. Night of the Living Dummy in the Goosebumps films. Huge icon. I mean, the film opens up with this couple. They receive a dummy through the mail. Billy the dummy, right? So straight off the bat, you're doing a pretty good opening. We do see scenes of where the dummy came from. There was this ventriloquist woman, Mary Shaw. There's a scene of her where she's doing the voice of Billy the puppet. Entertaining this crowd in the theatre. The boy is making a mockery of the performance because she says that she can see Mary Shaw's lips moving. Trying to make her look bad as the job. She hears what she says. The boy ends up going missing. Everyone thinks that she killed the boy, so she ends up getting killed because I think it was her who killed the boy. And basically Mary Shaw is like coming back through all these dummies to get revenge. And as you can see, the title's called Dead Silence. Basically, if you scream, you die. That's a good touch. So the fact is that you can die by screaming. That's a good little idea. It's not the most creative idea in the world, but it works. Because if you scream, the scenes where people's tongues get ripped out by Mary Shaw and those other things. I mean, right off the bat at the beginning, like I say, when the lead character gets this dummy called Billy, there's a scene where his girlfriend dies because she gets her tongue ripped out. They were good little intense scenes. Even the creepy little scenes where Billy is like moving his eyes very slowly across the room when he does like a close up. I thought it was a good little touch what they did with the music, how it went quiet, hence the word dead silence. You got them little sequences where the music died down. Good little sequences. So I admit this movie did have bits and pieces of good things, right? I admit that. But there was a lot of unnecessary things. I mean, there's one actor in this movie who plays the main cop, and I'm a big fan of his work because he was in the Saw movie. Donnie Wahlberg as Detective Jim Lipton in this movie. Now, I like Donnie Wahlberg. Like I say, he was in the Saw movie as the detective. Saw 2, Detective Eric Matthews, which he was nominated for a Teen Choice Award for movie screen in that movie. He was also at the start of The Sixth Sense, where he played Vincent Gray, the guy who shot Bruce Willis, and then committed suicide by shooting himself with a gun. So, just mentioning those 2 movies off the bat, he did great characters. In this movie, I felt like his character didn't do jack shit. I thought it was a waste of character. Honestly, if you've seen this movie, what does this character do other than fucking shave? Every time you see scenes of this guy, he's always shaving with an electric shaver. Now, in my opinion, that's wasting the potential of a good character, because the characters in these movies, including him and the lead character, it would have been nice to do some character build-up with them, make it more interesting. But is it really necessary to see scenes of this guy just continuously shaving all the time? I mean, even the scene where he dies, there's like a close-up of his electric shaver. Is the film purposely trying to be funny by doing this? If so, I think it fell right on its fucking face, because I didn't find these scenes funny. I thought it was frustrating. Like, what is the fetish? What is the obsession with this character of shaving all the fucking time? Instead of putting scenes of him shaving, we could see scenes of his background story. We could see character development in this, in this progress. What was with all the unnecessary shit? That's the only problem I've got with this film. Is it had the potential of being something really big. The title's right. The dummies were right. The little scenes in the theatres where they look spooky, and the spooky scenes with all the dummies' eyes moving, and the fact that if you scream you die. The look of Mary Shaw with all the lighting effects has the potential of being something big. But why did they fucking put unnecessary shit like this in? This cop shaving. He's played great characters in other movies, but you put him in a movie like this, he's a detective again, yet he shaves all the fucking time. What was the fucking point? I would have been more happier if there was more better character development. I mean, the lead guy gets arrested because he thinks, he was responsible for the killing of his girlfriend. There's a scene where he talks to his father, and I mean, that's another thing I want to have a problem with the ending of this movie. The twist that they tried to make the viewers all shocked that it really happened, I'll get to that in a minute, but there's a scene where he's talking to his father. He gets arrested by the detective thinking that he did the crime of his girlfriend's killing. There's a scene where one of the main characters is talking to the dummy about his skin or something. Again, he's got a fucking shaver in that scene. But I don't want to go out like talking about all the bad things about this movie, because I know this movie does have some of its fans. But surely they can agree with me that this movie could have been the potential of something really big and something really brilliant. I mean, it's the creators of Saw, for God's sake. You know what I mean? And I'd watch the Saw movies over this movie anytime. I mean, what got me into this movie was because I was on YouTube and I saw like a tribute video to this movie. I think it's still on YouTube. It's where all the dolls in the theatre are moving and it looks as though they're singing. Whoever made that tribute video has put a song editing. It's a small world after all. And it looks as though the dolls were singing it and doing the killings at the same time. I thought it was a great little tribute. And I'm thinking, this movie looks interesting, got to check it out. Checked it out, and obviously I've already told you my feelings about it. But one thing I did enjoy about the movie, I like the theatre scene. Where they're in this theatre. There was in that room where all the dummies were there. Mary Shaw's controlling them. All the dummies are moving their eyes. I love the shotgun scene with the detective where he was like blowing all these dummies to fucking pieces, and that was a cool kick-ass scene. Again, why couldn't we have done more than that? Why couldn't it be more action-packed? The dummies are all getting blown to fucking bits by the shotgun. There's a spooky scene where Mary Shaw kills this guy, rips out his tongue. She's like smiling in the darkness, and like a smile gets larger, larger, and larger before she like zooms in, rips the guy's fucking tongue out because he screams. And I thought that was a very scary scene. So I think they did a good job with Mary Shaw. That's one thing I will say. They did a good job with Mary Shaw. She's getting revenge on all the people through the dummies, you know, because she's a big ventriloquist actress, you know, using Billy the puppet, you know, using all the other puppets to kill these two guys, you know. I just really wish it could have been, you know, something really special. If they just want to cut out all the unnecessary shit like the shaving scenes, they could have worked more with the character development, you know, and it would have been good to see a lot more action with destroying all these dolls. You know, it would have been really a nice touch. You know, and the ending, you find out that all along when he was talking to his father, he was a doll. You know, Mary Shaw was controlling him, working his mouth. And I'm thinking, you know, we didn't really need to see that at the very end as a twist. It would have. I'm not saying cut it from the whole movie, but we didn't really necessarily need to need it as like an ending sort of thing. We could have just seen it as a sequence in the movie and then make that lead to the theatre scene. I would have been happy about that, but it was a good little gore scene, I admit, you know, with him controlling the mouth and all, with her controlling the mouth and all that. The film does have good little gore scenes. Okay. But why the fuck did it turn out the way it did? Again, so, yeah, I own this movie on Blu-ray, but to say the truth, I don't even remember buying this. I don't know if it was like at a place where I bought all these bunch of Blu-rays and this was one of the Blu-rays I got in with a bargain deal. You know, it's not a movie that I've seen a million times. I think I've seen this movie about 2 or 3 times. You know, and I feel the same way about it every time I watch it. You know, the title's right. You know, the dummies were right. Good little gore scenes, but just so many unnecessary scenes, and it had the potential of being something even bigger if they could have done it more right. So, not a disastrous movie. I don't hate it. Just a little bit disappointed with how certain things turned out. That's all. You know, and I was really impressed when they involved that actor. You know, the detective from Saw 2 in this. I was thinking, you know, we're going to see a good character like he did in the Saw movie. The scene where he played Vincent Gray at the start of The Sixth Sense, you know, he did a good little job in that scene, you know, showing frustration and anger and upset, sadness and depression and things like that. So, just wish he could have done something in this movie other than just fucking shave all the time. But there you have it. It's not always black and white. I mean, I'm looking at some of the stuff in this movie now, some important facts. 2007 this movie came out. Its official release date was March 16th of 2007. 92 minutes long, this movie, the unrated cut. It had a budget of $20 million, made $22.4 million at the box office. Reception-wise, yeah, they even talk about the ending, like I told you about the twist ending. They say it was an unnecessary and obvious twist ending. You know, again, I'm not saying the movie fell flat on its face, but what it could have been, you know, what it could have been. And from what I heard, they was going to make a sequel to this as well, but due to the poor reception and the money made of this movie, they didn't get around to doing it. So, shame, but it happens in this world. There's loads of movies that end up like that, where they could have the potential of being something big, but it doesn't exactly cut the mustard, you know what I mean? So overall, I'll just say, yeah, Dead Silence. It's a good time waster, I suppose, but again, I've already mentioned everything. Could have been better. That's all I'm saying. But I'm not shitting on the movie. There's a few scenes I like. There's a few concepts I like. But again, it could have been a better movie. And I would have really appreciated it if they just did a lot more with the characters and the development side of things. So that's all I've got to say, everyone. Please like, rate, comment, and email if you've got any questions. Thanks, everyone. Peace out.